Well, greetings, Boise State fans. Welcome on in. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com. This is a Tuesday edition of Bronco Nation News Live. Really excited about this one. It's, I guess you can call it Championship Tuesday. They're already kind of the co-champs, looking to be the sole champs. And Jay Tust joins me. Jay, it got a chance to be a special, historic night tonight at Extra Mile Arena, thanks in part to San Diego State last night. How's it going, man?
It's good. First off, welcome down to Arizona for one final time. Hopping a bird back to Boise. It's all about alliteration, by the way, BJ. Title Tuesday is what we'll call this one. But yeah, hopping a bird back to Boise right after this. Going to come home and try to see Boise State win an outright title last night. I tell you, it was nice for them just to be able to sit, not just them, but all of us for that matter, on our couches last night and just kind of watch idly as Boise State, I don't want to say was handed a co-conference championship, but they didn't do much last night in order to earn it. All the work was done before.
Before we get started, quick thank you, rowpaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, our title sponsor here at Bronco Nation News. Power and people, pride in painting. If you're looking for any industrial, commercial, residential, they can do all the painting, the floor coatings, anything you need. Please consider rowpaint.com. They're big supporters of Boise State Athletics and of us here at Bronco Nation News, and we appreciate their support here on the show. And Jay, it was kind of an interesting night. You knew either way tonight's game was going to mean something because Boise State was going to have a chance to at least clinch a share of the title, and they were still planning, if Wyoming won last night, to have the confetti on hand, have the trophy on hand, the ladder and the scissors, and as long as Boise State clinched at least a share, they were still going to celebrate after the game if they won tonight. But as you said, a little anticlimactic from that standpoint, where Boise State actually clinches a share of its first Mountain West title since 2015, while many of the players are probably sitting on their couch back at home and we're all watching on TV. But it does set up the scenario now where Boise State can win the title by themselves, the outright championship, the only team in the league that'll be able to cut down the nets and claim the trophy. First time since 2015 for a co-championship, but they've never won the Mountain West outright championship, and then lock up that number one seed for the conference tournament as well. And then, it would be quite the party. If you win tonight, you're not sharing with anybody. It's yours, and it has a chance to be a special night tonight.
And that's why, I remember, BJ, you were there in 2015 on the court when they cut down the nets and everything. And as awesome and as joyous as that moment was, you could tell, like, somewhere deep down, there was just that slight bit of bitterness that the team they were tied with, they beat twice. It felt like Boise State should have been outright champs, but the way the conference does it, if you're tied atop the standings at the end of the season, they hand out co-champions. I don't necessarily have anything against that because you're just doing more to celebrate your conference. So I'm okay with that. But you could just tell deep down there might have been that slight bit of bitterness that they felt they should have been outright champs. Tonight, they have a chance to secure that spot in history. One of the bigger nights in the history of the Boise State men's basketball program. And I know that kind of feels weird to say, but it's absolutely true. BJ, it is March 1st. Boise State is playing for a Mountain West outright conference championship at home tonight. I don't know how it gets any cooler than that for Bronco Nation.
No doubt about it. And I should mention we're wearing the official BNN KTVB jackets here, but I guess I got to move mine. I guess I got to zip up mine all the way so I can match you here. So looking good, Jay. No, I agree with you on that. And some people might give you some pushback, let's win a tournament game, all that kind of stuff. But for the time being, to be outright Mountain West champions, they've been in the league since 2011, right? And
2011, 12, yeah.
And I guess 2012 for basketball conference, but haven't had, like I said, they've only clinched a share of the title that one time in 2015, have never had it to themselves. And let's be honest too, Jay. Going into the season, I think there was some pressure on this basketball program after the last couple of years, and Jeremiah Dickey having a full year to kind of evaluate things. And I'm not saying Leon Rice would have been fired if they didn't get to the tournament this year or something, but I think there were some fans that were certainly questioning at the end of last season the direction of this program and things like that. And so for them to have this kind of year, and now on senior night at home, I know Leon Rice will take the high road. He's not going to, have a message to the haters or anything after the game. But he's had some real criticism the last couple of years with how they finished the season. So if they're able to win this at home, have the celebrate with the fans and the students and have the confetti. And we've all seen that picture. We joked about it last week. Leon Rice holding the trophy back in 2015. Got a few more gray hairs now, but they got to update the trophy. And I think it'd be a cool night, and it'd be a special night. I think it would mean a lot to Leon Rice too for what he's gone through, and just to get to this point to be back on top of the conference, which some fans maybe didn't see happening under him.
Yeah, I think that to some degree, even the fact that Boise State came up short in other scenarios, that Leon would acknowledge that they didn't achieve how much they thought they could have achieved, or whatever. But I think more than anything, the past is the past at this point, because just look at Boise State's social media account. It's really all you have to do in order to realize the difference in support that the program is getting this year compared to previous years. And they've emphasized it. They've given him more resources, more assets, more chartered flights in certain situations where they've needed them. And they haven't had them to and from every game, obviously, and who knows if they ever will, but they've had more than they've had in the past. And all of that adds up, and all of it makes a difference, especially when we see, you look at it this way, BJ, Boise State has played 12 games decided by 6 points or less this year. That's about half of their games. 9 of their 23 wins have been by 6 points or less. When you're playing in games that are so close, everything really does make a difference. What does Jeremiah Dickey say? Everything counts, everything matters. I don't know exactly the quote, but it all adds up in the end. And in this case, it's adding up to a team that is bound for the NCAA tournament and playing for a Mountain West title on March 1st.
Perry chiming in. The comments are rolling in. Jay, expect to see a focused team tonight. That is going to be interesting because fans are already kind of starting the celebration, starting the party, assuming that they're going to win this game by 15 points. I haven't seen a line, but I think Ken Palm's got them projected to win by 12 points. So anytime I see Cambridge and Sherfield, I'm not taking anything for granted based on what I've seen. But I've seen games where they just both have 25 plus points against them. So, but that will be an interesting thing because it's kind of like when Leon Rice didn't like my question, but I referenced it to like the Stanley Cup being in the building on a night where a team knows they can win the cup, and you got they're polishing it in the back and the guy in the white gloves. It's on a smaller scale, but you got the Mountain West Trophy in the building. You got the fans. One reason the fans are coming tonight to storm the court and celebrate a conference championship. You don't want to go out there and lay an egg and not win the game. So I think, this team, and I think it's going to say a lot about this team in this game, and also is going to be a good, mental test for the tournament next week with a lot on the line, and you want to win the game. And, Spencer saying, I wish it wasn't on FS2. They did get bumped to FS2. Randy saying this team deserves a sellout. Let's pack the house. Scott also saying, let's pack the house. But I do think the mental side tonight and some of these veteran players, we're going to learn a lot about this team if they're able to kind of focus in, which Leon Rice says they're good at doing, and we'll find out tonight.
I feel like they have been good at that. Your scenario is kind of funny, BJ, because when the Stanley Cup's in the house and you have a chance to win it, like that. In this case, like Boise State already possesses the hardware. They do. It's already theirs.
Half of it, yeah.
Half of it, I guess. Whatever. But they'll get a full trophy. I know you're joking. They'll get a full trophy. They already have it technically, and so that is a little bit of that will test your focus a little bit. I will say we've said enough that this team is different, so I think that they'll handle it differently. And even if they do slip up tonight, I don't know if we use that as a scapegoat. I think it's going to take a tremendous effort from Grant Sherfield and Desmond Cambridge. I don't think it's necessarily going to be self-inflicted by what Boise State does or doesn't do. So interested to see I'm interested to see the flow of the game. We saw in the previous game that, UNLV really tried to push the tempo. You saw them throw up a lot of shots in the first 10 seconds of the shot clock. Normally Boise State's defense kind of grips you, and everything happens in the back end of the shot clock. So last Saturday's game was a little different. Interesting to see what Nevada tries to do to make Boise State uncomfortable. Nevada's playing with nothing to lose at this point. They're trying to upset their rival on a given night. And the thing is, BJ, if you don't win the night, and if you're Boise State, you don't get the jubilation of cutting down the nets on your home floor. And given what Boise State's done this season, they deserve that moment. And so that's why this makes it a big game for them more than anything, is to celebrate what these players and what the program has accomplished in front of a fan base that they're really trying to, build, I would say.
Yeah, you're not cutting down the nets in Fort Collins if you win on Saturday. You're not. It's
Even
it's
if
not.
you do, it's going to be quick.
Yeah.
You get up, you get out.
I don't
you
think I don't think anybody's cutting down the nets in the opposing team's gym. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's all set up for tonight. It was already going to be a party, but now with Wyoming losing, I mean, it's literally set up just perfect. And they're 10 hours, 12 hours from right now could be on the court celebrating with confetti. Nick Wade saying I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't be there for the outright championship. Scott Stewart won a packed house. I'm not sure I should say this, Jay, but there is a promo code fan appreciation. I'm not sure if Boise State would be happy with me or not, but fan appreciation is the promo code, and you can get $10 tickets for tonight on the website. I think that's for anyone that's bought a ticket this season. You can go back, but I'll just give it to you now. Why not? Let's fill the place. Fan appreciation is the promo code. $10 tickets to get into the game tonight. I just purchased 3 tickets for the boys and Karen. They're going to be there. So I mean, I know we always kind of. I know you said on Twitter it's not your job to sell tickets, and I know I kind of at times am critical, and but if you're a student. If you're a fan, I mean, why are you a fan? Literally for nights like tonight. I mean, why would you not want to go to tonight's game? I know our friend Colby Blaine joked they're all because they're going to be out in Caldwell watching the Yotes, win, and that's okay.
Yeah, I will say, I guarantee you, the Jay Albertson's Activity Center will be packed.
And good luck to the Yotes, no doubt about it. It's bad timing for them. It's on the same night, but yeah. I mean, literally, you're a fan 365 days a year for nights like tonight, like to see your team hoist up a conference championship trophy, to see Abu Kijab climb the nets and cut down a snippet of the net, to see, I mean, literally that's why you are a fan. So whether you're a small fan or a big fan, why are you a fan? To see your team win and to see your team win championships. And so I think tonight is, literally the one game, if you're going to pick one game a year to go to, it should be tonight. So there's still tickets available in the balcony, and I'll be very curious to see what the final crowd looks like. But you mentioned that game in 2015 against Fresno State. It was the home finale in that. I think it was his regular season finale, but that was a packed house. And then that was a game against Fresno, that team you should have beat, but it was a similar scenario, kind of like this, a decent team, but that was a packed house, and it was a really cool moment to have the confetti fly and have everybody be there. And I just think if you're a fan of Boise State, you should be there early. And this has a chance, Jay, to be a electric atmosphere. When the team comes out 30 minutes before for the warm-ups, it's just got a chance to be an electric night, a memorable night. And as you said, the team, with how they've played this year, deserves this night to be at home in front of your fans. And we'll see if the fans come out. But fan appreciation is the promo code if you want $10 tickets.
Yeah, I joke around on Twitter, and I do say that, BJ, it's not my job to sell tickets, but like if you just lay the event out for what it is, it probably should sell itself. And after last week when Abu Kijab had an awesome game, that is a guy that embodies and exemplifies everything that this program is about. And it's his final home game at Extra Mile Arena. And it's funny because Extra Mile Arena has always brought out the best in Abu. And if you look at his career averages, whether it be field goal percentage, free throw percentage, points per game, all of his numbers at Extra Mile Arena lift up his career stats. So he's usually always very good at home, and it's your final chance to see him rocking the blue and orange as a Bronco here in Boise.
And might be the final game for some of the other seniors. We don't know.
We don't know that either. Marcus Shaver, Mladen Armush, even Emmanuel Acott. I mean, I think you and I have a feeling on some of those futures, but I think there's also fans out there like, oh, can this guy really go to the NBA? It's not for the NBA, everybody, but you can make a hell of a lot of money overseas playing in Europe, and that's what a lot of these guys are going to have to weigh. Do they push it off a year when they're in a very similar scenario, or do they go cash in now? They'll have to make that decision. We can talk about that at a later date, obviously. But on top of that, the chance for an outright conference champ, the chance to see arguably Boise State's best team in school history. And so, like I said, it's not, joking around. Not my job to sell tickets. But if you list out what is going on at this event at Extra Mile Arena, if Boise's an event town, this event probably should sell itself. And I know we probably complain. I've already had fans complain to me about the accessibility on TV. That might actually help put a few more butts in the seats tonight, because there are people out there that are going to be less inclined to try to find FS2 on their dials if they have it. Nobody has dials anymore, but whatever.
Yeah, no, I don't even know if all the outlets get FS2. So yeah, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
But hey, if you're going to the game tonight, make sure I should have put the map on the screen here, Jay. But they're doing the what are they calling it, the stripe out or something, where you can wear blue or orange depending on what seat you're in. So if you need any gear, head over to the Blue and Orange store, Boise Town Square Mall there, and you can head on in and see if you're in the blue section or the orange section. But they got all the Nike gear, all the jerseys, all the hats, all kinds of stuff there. The Blue and Orange store is where you need to head to get all your Boise State gear, right there at the blueandorangestore.com. And you can go online, but you won't get your gear in time for tonight. So go on into the store and pick up your stuff there at the Blue and Orange store. And I do want to talk about, Jay, as we kind of focus in on the game tonight, but let's look at the standings first. This was after the Wyoming-San Diego State game yesterday, so that's why their two teams are highlighted. But to kind of explain it for folks, they've clinched the share because if they lose their last two games, they'd be 14-4, and that's the same, the best that any other team can do. So they just have to win one of these last two games. If they were to lose tonight, they could still win Saturday and clinch the title. They also could clinch the outright if they were to lose, but if the other teams lost a game too. But you see the bunch up there in the standings. And Jay, if the tournament started today, Boise State potentially could be playing the same Nevada team they're going to play tonight in the first round. It looks like Nevada and New Mexico are going to play in the 8-9 game, especially if Boise State wins tonight. That almost assures that of happening because Nevada moves down. So the 8-9 game next Wednesday would be Nevada and New Mexico, and then you might get another chance next week to see Boise State play this Nevada team again.
God, I would love to go back on November, whatever day in November, and tell Leon Rice, hey, Leon, you're going to clinch the number 1 seed at the Mountain West Conference tournament, and you're going to open it up by probably playing Grant Sherfield and Desmond Cambridge in the Nevada Wolfpack. I just would have loved to see his reaction. I probably would have started with what the hell happened? Yeah, it would have been nuts.
It might be the scariest. They might be this, and we'll talk about this next week. But they might be. I know Leon. We always, Leon Rice likes to. I call it, Lou Holtz it or whatever, where he hypes up a team no matter what. But they might be one of the biggest differences in actual record to talent level. And like scariness factor of a team I can remember in a long time. They've had a lot of injuries, guys out with COVID, other things, but they finally got everybody back. And I know they won by 15 down in Reno already this season, but when you get Cambridge and Sherfield hot, man, I remember the Mountain West tournament last year. Some of the threes Cambridge was hitting, you have no chance. And he's had 30-point games this year. Sherfield's had 30-point games. I mean, they certainly are a scary team tonight and next week in the tournament.
Well, I think that Boise State's done a great job. I mean, outside of, a couple of performances this year, really, I'm going to go with Bryce Hamilton in Boise. Outside of that, like, they haven't really encountered one of those every shot that goes up goes in by one of these hot scorers so far this season. And those two guys that you just talked about are definitely two guys that could potentially go do that, not only tonight, hell, but down obviously in Vegas at the Mountain West Conference tournament. So we'll see. We'll see. Boise State's done a good job, so I don't think it's an anomaly at this point. They've done a good job against leading scorers, but that is, I mean, without a doubt, we can see it, BJ. That would be a scary matchup. The good news is that we've been saying this for a long time. We've been beating this drum. Boise State needs to take care of their NCAA tournament bid before they get to Vegas, and I feel like they've done that so far.
This is a time for a good plug here. 2:30 today, Jay. I'm going to have Joe Lunardi right here on my show. So Joe Lunardi's not very often. He's the second biggest guest of the day, but we got Jay today, so Joe's number 2. But come on back at 2:30 today, folks. Here to wherever you're watching this on the Bronco Nation News social media channels. 2:30 live. Joe Lunardi, the ESPN bracketologist, will come on, and he actually, for some reason, we'll have to ask him. I think it's a seeding thing, but he had Boise State as a 7. Today's bracket, he actually dropped them down to an 8. I believe they were originally the last 7. Now they're the first 8 or something. But I will ask Joe today why they moved down, but also, are they a lock if they lose the last 3 games? How high of a seed could they possibly get if they win out, in the conference tournament moving forward? A lot of scenarios, and I think by all indications, Joe Lunardi is the main main bracketologist out there, that most credible, I guess you could say, him and Jerry Palm probably. So looking forward to having Joe on at 2:30 today. And not just that, but the Mountain West. And I think last night, the Mountain West, Jay, was probably happy with the result last night. San Diego State gets the quad 1 win and probably helps themselves, have a better chance of getting in as well.
Yeah, I will say, though, it does put Wyoming in a little bit of a scenario where they probably need to make sure they win a couple games to feel better about themselves now.
At UNLV tomorrow.
Yeah, so I mean, after that, I believe they host Fresno State, who is a team that can win on any given night. I like Wyoming in that matchup, but that's 2 tough games that Wyoming's going to have to get through. And if for some reason, if they drop both those games, they are going to be in trouble on the bubble. Let's just say that.
Well, Jay, this was another topic that I wanted to make sure we had time to hit on before we got out of here. This came up last night during the broadcast. This was one of the broadcasters, Mike. I don't even know who it was. I apologize, but this was his All Mountain West team that he put up on the screen, and a lot of people right away were jumping in, and the obvious one is Justin Bean. I like Justin Bean. I've communicated with his brother on social media about some foul calls. Seems like a nice guy, nice family, but you're going to finish 7th or 8th in the standings. I can't have Justin Bean. And he is also averaging like a double-double too, I think. But I just don't see him on the same level as these other guys in this league. So there's multiple, and what it really does, Jay, is there's no right or wrong answer. First of all, every fan base is going to argue for their guys. I get it, but this year, and we said going into this, the last couple of weeks, oh man, it's going to be hard to pick 5. But this year, it really is, because just to name a few of the people not on this list. You have Marcus Shaver. You have Abu Kijab. Oh, yeah, you have the guy that just scored 30 points last night, Bradley, for San Diego State. And, oh, yeah, you have Graham Ike, one of the most dominant big guys in the league. And you could even go down the line. I mean, there's multiple players that you argue should be on this list. And that just tells you how good the league is and how hard it's going to be to come up with 5. But I don't think Justin Bean will probably be on the final 5.
I don't think Justin Bean will be on the final 5. As you said, Utah State's finished a little too far down the standings for me. I think you look at what Bryce Hamilton has done over the last 6 weeks, it's going to be impossible to keep him off this team. David Roddy is an absolute given. Hunter Maldonado, same in my book, an absolute given. So you pretty much have 3 locks there. I could see people wanting to argue that Orlando Robinson doesn't deserve to be on the team because their team's going to finish probably under 500 in Mountain West Conference play. But he's also going to be, he's going to be a first-round NBA pick. I don't know how he gets left off this team. I mean, if I'm filling it out, yeah, he's on the team too. So I think you have four players that are pretty much locks right now. Graham Ike, man, I got to say, I don't know how you leave him off. I mean, this is a Wyoming team that, yeah, despite kind of a devastating loss last night, they have really overachieved this year. And I don't know where they would be without Graham Ike or Hunter Maldonado. And I know the Boise State fans are probably a little agitated that they don't have a guy on there. But for me, I don't know, it's kind of the defining of this team. What does Leon say? So what, now what? So what, now what? Who cares? They haven't relied on a Chandler Hutchison type guy to carry them all season long. Abu Kijab, is he deserving for what he's contributed to the Boise State men's basketball team? Absolutely he is. But there's also been nights where he's played a much different role and scored 5 points. So if they don't land a guy on the first team, by no means does that dictate the success or the level of talent on this Boise State team. The fun thing that I like about this, BJ, is that you get these flip cards come March Madness time, and you're trying to pick the winners of games, and you pull up a flip card, and you're like, why is their top scorer is averaging 13.9 points per game, and this guy averages 12.7, and they got 2 at about 10, and this guy's at 9. And you look at it and you're like, I'm not going to pick these guys to win, and then they show up and they just beat you. Yep. And that's what this Boise State that's the identity of this Boise State team is the team. They show up and they just beat you.
Yeah, it's really impressive. And another one that comes with this, Jay, and by the way, I have talked to, we should mention this, the coaches kicked out the writers a couple years ago, or the media, I guess I should say.
God.
They in football, they do a joint ballot, but for some reason the basketball coaches didn't like our voting or something. So the coaches have their own vote, and then the media has their own vote. The Mountain West does sanction both. And so we'll see how
that's changed in the last couple of years with media, right, BJ?
Yeah. And I mean, there's the Big 12. There's some other leagues, the Big 12. They have a coaches and a media poll separately. So we'll see if that maybe changes. In years past, the player of the year, coach of the year, that kind of stuff has changed. And depending on whether it's media or players, but a couple of the writers I have talked to, Jeff Grammer, Mark Ziegler, some of the more respected writers have said for them, you can't have a first team without a Boise State player. Now, some might put Shaver, some might put Kejab. It cancels them out. Nobody gets it. Who knows? I think you can make a case for both of them. The other, debate that I don't think Boise State fans are going to like is coach of the year, Jay. And Derek's saying Linder still feels like the front runner, but he says if Wyoming dips to fourth in the standings and BSU wins the outright title, it has to go to Leon Wright. We'll see, but don't forget, Wyoming was picked tied for eighth. Right now they're in second, but I do think if Wyoming drops another game here, the argument for Linder might change. But even if Wyoming finishes second, I think you have to, Boise State fans may not want to hear it, but it's been a heck of a turnaround and a heck of an improvement. But Boise State was picked fourth. So if they win, they did 4 spots better than they were supposed to as well.
It's funny. I think you should, when it comes to Boise State, if you're making the argument, we actually probably go to November 30th. They start out 3-4. Who can save that ship? And now in the last, I think it's 90 days now, 93 days, 91 days, somewhere in that range, they've been nearly unbeatable, and you could argue they have been unbeatable with the healthy Emmanuel Acott. So Leon's done a phenomenal job this year, maybe his finest work yet. But much like the first team, if he doesn't win it, whatever, whatever. I don't think it really matters to this team. I don't. I think that any of these guys would trade any of those accolades for an NCAA tournament win and a Mountain West Conference championship. It's funny. I think you and Will posted a video yesterday, and it was prior to the season. And if everybody thought they were going to score as many points as they thought they were going to score, Boise State would have averaged 131 points per game. Is that what he said?
Yep. He had a secret ballot and had every player write on a piece of paper how many points they thought they personally were going to average this season. They put it in a hat, and when Leon added it up, it was 131.
Yeah, see, so that's just unrealistic. No team in NCAA history has even touched that mark. And so this team's all about sacrifice. Team's all about the team. I think that oftentimes it's cliche when players and coaches say, we don't care about individual awards. Yeah, you do. But in this case, I just don't know if it matters to him.
I don't think it really does.
It's a unique scenario where it just doesn't matter to him.
Nope. And there's a comment that says Boo would rather hoist the trophy than hoist be on the first team. That's true. This is an interesting side plot. Jay's asking if Rice will stay if he wins the conference. There are going to be 2 or 3 Pac-12 job openings probably. I would at a minimum, Jay, I think you at least hear his name get connected to some job as a candidate on one of those. Who are the 10 candidates for this job? His name will certainly come up. But I can say this, and I would suspect he probably uses that and gets a new contract at Boise State, I would assume, or at least gets some more money for the charter flights, the budget, the assistant coaches. He wants to capitalize on this success, but I think Jeremiah Dickey recognizes that and wants to capitalize as well. So I do think his name will pop up for some other jobs, but I would suspect what happens is he uses that leverage, gets a new deal, gets some more money for the program. And I think Jeremiah Dickey now sees what Leon Rice can do, what this program can do. And, you're seeing the Blue Collar Club, you're seeing the BAA, you're seeing all these Lyle Smith Society members. They're raising more funds, and I think that they're going to continue to invest in basketball because they're now seeing what's possible with that.
Yeah. You look at Pac-12, Washington, Arizona State. Those are the 2 off the top of my head that I would.
And the Washington one is scary. He's got ties to Washington. Or if you're a Boise State fan, that obviously he's a Wazoo alum, has turned that down a couple times. But I'm sure Washington could pay, way more than he's making here. But it's the Pac-12.
You walk out your back door and you have just an awesome talent pool to recruit from in that Seattle area. So that would obviously be attractive, could make a lot of money. And the expectations there are usually perfect. Like UW basketball, when they're good, they get support. But there's a reason why Chris Peterson went to UW, in my opinion, and not Auburn.
Yep.
There's a gauge to interest up there, but you still can make a lot of money and have support when it's warranted. Arizona State would be interesting just because, Arizona hired another Gonzaga guy, Mark Few guy this last year, and they're number 2 in the country. So that would be kind of ironic, I guess, if you got both Arizona schools to have former Gonzaga guys. But yeah, I don't know. I think the thing that's nice about this year for if you're Leon Rice is that you probably believe what the school is going to promise you. When the school says, hey, we're going to give you more support, we're going to give you more chartered flights, they kind of already proved that this season. And more than anything, they proved that they'll fight for him. And so even if it doesn't always align the way that he might want it to, I think that this support staff proved that they'll fight for him. And I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here because it is 1 year, it is one season. But if you do add last season, no team in the Mountain West has won more games over the last 2 years than Boise State. No team. And so the chance to tap in and unlock the true potential of this program, if I'm Leon Rice and I've been here for 12 years and see your boys grow up, you might have the chance to really dig in and be a legacy coach and create something special if that's what you choose to do.
Yeah.
If you get a payday, hey, man, I don't fault you.
No. And like I said, at some point you got to strike when the iron's hot if that is your ultimate goal, and we'll never know what his ultimate dream is. Maybe it is to coach in the Pac-12. Maybe it is to stay at Boise State for 25 years. We don't know, but I can tell you this, that if they were, Jeremiah Dickey, I would be shocked if he didn't do everything he could to make it worth it to Leon Rice to want to stay. I mean, that only goes so far, but I get the feeling that Leon Rice really connects well with Jeremiah Dickey, that he really likes the direction in this administration. And I just get the feeling that this could be a nice match for a long time. And it's crazy that we're in this spot. You given a year ago, fans were wanting him fired after last season. And that talk obviously has quieted down. As we wrap this up, Jay, somebody was asking here, let's see here. Where was the comment? Somebody wants to know about us. Go ahead. While
you find that, I wanted to add something real quick. One thing that I think that has been cool this year, and I thought about this for a second because this was a topic of conversation that came up on Twitter not long ago, and that was you haven't seen Boise State leverage the football team much this year to generate excitement or support for the men's basketball program.
Yeah.
And initially, like my gut check reaction is like, oh yeah, that's kind of weird. But as you think about it, if I'm Leon Rice, man, like, yeah, I love it when I get support from those guys, but I want my program to be known. Like, I don't want it to be. You want to, just because you're a football school doesn't mean you can't also be a basketball school.
No doubt.
Like in a way, like just kind of involving them. It was kind of the previous, leaders just always seemed to kind of take the easy way. It felt like, oh, bring the football team in, and this support staff didn't lean on that tactic.
No.
And I think in a way it has helped elevate the image of the Boise State basketball program that they are good enough to stand on their own. And so I kind of, whether I have no clue if that was an intentional thing or not, man, I have no freaking clue.
Well, I was kind of the one that brought it up, and my thing was like just even a retweet to help sell tickets or something. I'm not saying they had to. Yeah. I'm not saying they had to come be honored at halftime to sell tickets. Right. I went back to like October and hadn't seen a single tweet from the football program that had anything to do with basketball. So you're the reason why
Andy Avila showed up at the last game in those sweet seats, right?
And then gave John Mallory a chocolate chip cookie at halftime. Yeah.
He knows John.
Yeah, he did. He thought he was like a fan of some sort, I guess, and he was. They said go find a very special fan and give out a cookie, and he chose John Mallory.
The guy on press row with his shirt off. Just kidding, Mallory.
Someone was asking. Speaking of shirts off, as we wrap this up here, somebody was asking. Nate. Nate says, "Does the Mountain West Conference impose fines for storming the court?" I don't know the answer to that, and I did check into this. Boise State officials are not going to openly say, yes, storm the court if we win. Yeah. But if you have 2,000 students all ready to storm the court, my understanding is the security is not going to try to stop them. So, I think
so. Connor Johnstone, lead the damn charge tonight, man.
Well, we know Matt Boucher will be out there. I don't think it's just students.
Somebody's got to start it. If nobody starts it, it's not going to happen.
No, storm the court.
I'm not encouraging it, though.
And that's kind of my final thought here, and I'll get yours in a second, Jay. But, I mean, it's just, like I said, why else are you a fan? It's for nights like tonight. So enjoy this, Boise State fans, whether you're watching on FS2, whether you're listening to Bob and Abe, whether you're watching KTVB. I'm sure you'll be live down there tonight, Jay, probably, or have extensive coverage at least after the game on the news at 10. We'll have coverage. I mean, just wherever you're soaking up your coverage tonight, folks, watching it live, if you're in the stands, I mean, it's been a rough couple of years when you think of the late season February and March records. And I know we're looking ahead, Jay, but I mean, this team has been waiting since 2015 to get back to the NCAA tournament. They've been waiting for even longer than that to win an outright conference championship. And so, you know what? Like, it's obviously not going to be easy. It's going to be a big game, but bring it tonight if you're in the crowd. And if they do win, you know what? Enjoy it, soak it in, storm the court, do whatever you want to do. Just have fun, and you know, you deserve this, Bronco Nation.
Yeah, I got to say this. So a little stat for you before I leave. I'm going to post some stuff at KTVB.com a little later today.
Oh, we're getting the advance here. Let's go.
Yeah. Boise State only won 3 games in November, tied for the 3rd fewest in a November under Leon Rice. In December, they won 7, and in January, they won 7. Both those marks either set or tied the school record for those given months. In February, they won 6, the 2nd most in school history, under Leon Rice. The only time they won more was in 2015 when they went to the NCAA tournament. So as we look at March, 3's the number, BJ. They won 5 in Rice's first year, but they went to the CBI. I don't think that counts. 3's the number. They get 1 tonight. They're 1 step closer. It's not often they've won multiple games in this month. So tonight would be a step in the right direction by knocking off Nevada. I can only hope the Wolfpack are easier on the Broncos, though, than traveling with a 23-month-old on a plane back to Boise. As you know, that's some lockdown defense you got to play right there.
Well, we're thoughts and prayers with you, Jay, to you and Camille. Good luck to you guys on the way back tonight. We'll see you at Extra Mile Arena. And I thought you were going to mention so they go easier than the Wolfpack football team did on homecoming against Boise State this year on the blue. So Nevada fans.
It on a nice note, BJ.
Nevada fans are entering the chat. I refrained from putting it on the screen, but they're trying to talk a little trash that they're going to do what they did in football and spoil the party tonight. So should be a lot of fun. Again, 2:30. I'll have Joe Lenardi. We'll get some more info on that. And Jay, KTVB, all the different newscasts tonight. You and Will have everything covered, right?
Yeah, 6:10. Will's got us covered. I'll be there to do whatever I can. Let's just say that.
You'll be signing autographs, taking pictures with the crowd. Maybe they'll even let you get up there and cut down a snippet of the net. What do you say? Come on.
Rudy, go zone. Hey, Mountain West, let Rudy ref a basketball game, for crying out loud. He's the nicest guy ever.
Appreciate it, Jay. We'll see you tonight, man. Safe travels back. There he is, Jay Tust, KTVB. Appreciate him for joining us. And yeah, should be fun tonight, folks. Enjoy the game. Again, 7:00. There are tickets available. Again, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but fan appreciation is the promo code. Just go on, use the promo code fan appreciation. You can get $10 tickets. And as a quick reminder, if you're coming down to the Mountain West Tournament in Las Vegas, join us. The Bronco Nation News Fan Party, Wednesday, March 9th. It'll be a week from tomorrow, 7 to 10 p.m. We're going to be at the Circa Resort and Casino on Fremont Street, the Overhang Bar. It's up on the 3rd level, I believe. It overlooks the sports book. We're going to have some rally towels, some ICCU sunglasses, some other swag to give away, and we'll have some drink specials that we'll be announcing shortly, too. So if you've never been down to Fremont Street, or if you want to come get away from the strip for a night before the tournament, come on down, experience Fremont Street. Check out the brand new Circa Resort and Casino. They got the world's largest sports book. And again, we'll have all kinds of fun there. Just kind of just hanging out and having some drinks and talking about Boise State sports. We'll be there around 7 to 10, but just come at any point if you can during that time. And Blue Collar Club will be there taking donations for the BAA as well. So going to have some fun, may have some special guests. I know Jeremiah Dickey joked on social media that he'll try to come by after in another event that he has, and said he'd play some blackjack and craps with Boise State fans. So could be a fun night before Boise State plays on Thursday in the tournament. So hopefully you will plan to make plans to join us at, again, Wednesday, March 9th, the Overhang Bar at Circa Resort and Casino. Tonight, we'll have the pregame show, $25 gift card to the James Whiskey and Cocktails. Come on back around 6:30 tonight to wherever you're watching this, on YouTube, on Twitter, on social media, 6:30 tonight for the pregame show. And if you give us your score prediction and you're a subscriber to Bronco Nation News, $25 gift card to the James Whiskey and Cocktails, $25 to the James Whiskey and Cocktails. And I should throw out a plug. Well, of course, please subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/Bronco Nation News. But be on the lookout. If and when Boise State clinches the outright Mountain West title, we will have a promo code for a discounted 1-year subscription. So the graphic is already made. And as soon as Boise State wins, if and when they win the Mountain West Championship, we will be offering a special 1-year subscription rate to BroncoNationNews.com. So hopefully you will consider that. We appreciate you guys checking us out. Should be fun tonight. Again, 7 o'clock. FS2 is the broadcast, but don't forget, come on back at 2:30. I'll have Joe Lenardi, the ESPN bracketologist, and we'll take some of your questions for Joe and get the latest on where Boise State stands in the bracket projections moving forward. So appreciate everybody for checking us out. And we will see you at 2:30 with Joe Lenardi, and then at 6:30 for the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show. Big one for Boise State tonight as they go for the outright Mountain West title, a chance to cut the nets, celebrate with the confetti. The trophy will be on hand. You can storm the court. And again, fan appreciation gets you $10 tickets, but don't tell anybody you heard that from me. So enjoy the game tonight, and we'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.
Get ready for the time of your life at Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's newest destination for fun, featuring the world's biggest poolside tailgate park with 3 levels of action, 6 pools, and a 143-foot screen. The fun is always on deck with all the games all year long. Stadium Swim, located in downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street. Book the time of your life today at CircaLasVegas.com.